Well, you just couldn't call, could you, MAGAs? You just couldn't help out a few thousand or million people who are going to go hungry and are going to live in the fucking streets. Thanks, MAGA. Thanks a whole hell of a lot. Because most of the goddamn people live in your fucking states.
Make America Sick, Stupid, and Starving should actually be the new slogan of the Republican Party. Senate Republicans literally broke into cheers and applause today, Tuesday, July 1st, when Vice President Vance cast the tie-breaking vote that passed their big bucket of bullshit bill out of the Senate. The reason they are cheering is because they just pleased the only constituency that actually matters to them, and that is their donors. That is the wealthiest couple percent of Americans. They actually do not give a shit about anybody else. They just delivered $2 trillion of tax cuts to the wealthiest people in this country, and they did that by reducing our access to education, food assistance, and healthcare, because they get to keep their jobs if they keep their donors happy and if they keep the rest of us sick, stupid, and starving. The cuts to those quality of life programs that are outlined in this bill are just the tip of the iceberg, because the 2017 tax cuts reduced federal revenue by around $2 trillion. We haven't even fully realized the impacts of that yet. These tax cuts are going to reduce federal revenue by trillions of more dollars, which will lead to the federal government having less money to spend on these quality of life programs for decades to come. They will continue to sacrifice our quality of life so they can keep their jobs. They are counting on so many of y'all doing what you always do, completely forgetting that Republicans fucked you over with this bill in 2026, in 28, and in 2030, so you will keep voting for them. I'm not gonna fucking forget. Are you?
The MAGA movement is full of depraved psychopaths. I mean, truly racist, despicable, basket of deplorables, utter trash. As far as I'm concerned, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden did not go far enough. These people have no shame and are evil and just absolutely breathtakingly cruel to their core. Put up this.
After more than 27 hours, Republicans just passed their big, ugly bill in the United States Senate. Make no mistake, this package is an economic, social, healthcare, moral catastrophe in the making. Republicans went on record and they chose Donald Trump and billionaires over the American people, especially the American people most in need. They voted for the biggest cuts to healthcare, food security, and climate solutions in American history. Instead of courage, we saw capitulation. We saw Republicans vote for cuts they know will hurt the people they represent, all to get a pat on the back from Donald Trump. Unbelievable. But this fight is not over. The big ugly bill now heads to the House of Representatives, and that's where Republicans of conscience should stop this bill. That's why we cannot agonize, we must organize. We all need to continue to raise our voices even louder to stop from tearing the healthcare, the food assistance, and a livable future away from Americans. Our fight continues.
Hello, beautiful people. I hope you're well and welcome back to my channel. So America is hurting right now. While working families are struggling to put food on the table, send their kids to school, and pay the rising bills, the same Senate just passed Trump's so-called big beautiful bill, and it's anything but beautiful for the average American. The bill cuts $1 billion from Medicaid, stripping over 16 million people of basic health care, including seniors, low-income families, and the disabled. And guess what? The rich get richer, while the poor and middle class pay the price. So much for the America First. Let's break it down exactly what just happened and why millions of Americans are so furious today. Let's dive into it.
You know what really pisses me off about where we are today? Is that back when he was running for office, how many times did Donald Trump say on day one he was going to lower costs for American families?
Right.
And now
I know.
the big,
It's
beautiful
just
bill.
like, I mean, I talk to people all the time who are going like, this is not what I wanted.
Yeah. And I mean, like, seriously? Like, just follow the money here.
Like
What is happening?
he didn't run on throwing 16 million people off of healthcare. He
No.
didn't run on a promise of handing that money to the billionaires and the corporations. They thought he was going to be a populist. They
That's
thought he
right.
was going to care about regular people.
That's right. He did not run on taking away wheelchairs
Right.
from people who need them to be able to live independently. And so how betrayed must Americans feel at this moment?
You have a lot of people who are fed up with this rigged economy,
Yep.
and they bought his argument that he would unrig it, and he's like brazenly doing the opposite, right? He's rigging it further to help his Mar-a-Lago buddies, and that's the foundation of this bill that we're voting on this week, right?
I mean, there is nothing subtle about this.
No.
There is, they're trying to pretend like they're not doing what they are really doing. They could not give these giant tax breaks to these multimillionaires, and then they wouldn't have to cut Medicaid.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to cut SNAP, but that's what they're choosing to do.
10 things I hate about the big, beautiful Bill Act that very unfortunately passed Senate today. And here's what it means for the normal American person. First, 11 million people will most likely be cut from Medicaid. Second, grad school, medical school, dental school, law school, all capped at $150,000 in loans. That's all you get. So if you're not rich, you don't get to make those professional degrees part of your upward mobility. Not an option for you. 3, tax breaks for the rich. The top 1% will save thousands in tax breaks, while someone making $80,000 a year may save a couple of hundred. 4, hospitals will be getting less funding from Medicaid. The reimbursement will be lower, which means less money to the hospitals paying for care, which means longer wait times, less staff, and overall worse experience for all of our patients. This will especially affect the rural hospitals and those safety nets who take a lot of patients without insurance and who really depend on Medicaid reimbursement. And if that's not worse, let's look at number 5. 1 in 4 children who benefit from SNAP benefits and food stamps, they're going to be cut. 1 in 4 children. We're taking food from children. 6, Medicaid bans for abortion and gender-affirming care. So if you have private insurance, if you can afford that, that's fine. You can go ahead and get those treatments, but poor people will not be able to. So you're going to have that baby, and then you're not going to be able to get the food stamps for it, and you're not going to be able to get the Medicaid insurance. So that's what we're doing to people. Those on the Affordable Care Act, those who have Obamacare or whatever you want to call it, that's getting more expensive too, and harder to get. Number 8, more red tape for the poor. So people are going to have to reapply and do more paperwork regularly for Medicaid. However, those who are rich get tax breaks with no extra work, or very least minimal extra work for their tax person. Number 9, not only are hospitals getting less funding from Medicaid, but so are individual providers, once again making them less likely to want to take the insurance from Medicaid patients, meaning that they will have less access to health care, once again hurting anyone who is not rich. And my favorite, number 10, it adds $3.3 trillion to America's debt. This isn't saving us money, it's adding to our debt. You're cutting money from poor people and you're giving it to the rich and you're adding to the overall deficit. So if you stuck around for this whole video, this is the time to act. The bill now goes to the House to get voted on, and we do not want this to happen. So call your representatives, share this video, peacefully protest, share your stories and experiences. Talk about why you're on Medicaid. Talk about how that's helped you. Real people's stories helps a lot more than statistics. We have to get through this together.
I'm not MAGA, please don't scroll. I have a moral compass and a soul, and I woke up super frustrated because of all this big, beautiful bill stuff. It's like having flashbacks of that thing we went through not too long ago that cost over 1 million American lives. Just trying to tell people to protect themselves, protect their loved ones, even people that we don't necessarily agree with or even like. They sure as hell don't like us. And we watched countless family members of theirs pass away due to that horrible pandemic. And now you've got countless MAGA influencers all over the web rooting for the big, beautiful bill because Donald Trump supports it 100%. Even though the very same things that all these MAGA influencers and MAGA members of Congress railed against Biden for, not putting America first, increasing taxes to the middle class, you don't get your no tax on tips, and the no tax on overtime is so specific, you're still going to be taxed on overtime. But not only that, for your own self-serving purposes, your rural hospitals in your red states, your senior living assisted facilities, they're going to be shut down. Because in red states, they all rely on Medicaid and Medicare to function. This is going to affect everyone, red and blue states. But red states, your governors and your members of Congress and your state legislator all lie to you. Y'all do not have the state budget to finance your own healthcare programs. Your mothers, your fathers, your sons, your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your sisters, they all rely on one or all of the programs that this big, beautiful bill is going to cut. And the MAGA influencers out there, the Charlie Kirks, are being paid handsomely to tell you that's not true. This bill is big, but mark my words, there's absolutely nothing beautiful about it. This is not America first. And you know what? Even if you're MAGA and you can't stand me, an independent progressive, I still don't want to see bad things happen to you or your family. Because an actual patriot has concern for all Americans. Donald Trump isn't a patriot. We lost over 1 million Americans and he treated it like it was just another Tuesday. If any pro-Trump online or TV personality is telling you to support this thing, they don't care about you, MAGA. Real patriots care about you. Even though all this MAGA stuff, this hate, this police state has given us every single reason in the book not to. I have said and will continue to say, Republicans are welcome at my table anytime, even if we disagree. And there should be a shared mutual respect as Americans. Not MAGA. MAGA's a lie. And every single voice supporting this thing is being paid to lie.
MAGA is a death cult, and that's a very, very sober realization. Now, for the majority of us who are not in the cult, we've known this for years. I mean, it's not hard to see. From the lens of this big, beautiful bill that they're trying to pass through Congress, that's in the Senate now, reaching its final stages, really zooming out a little bit, taking all the evidence of just this year alone. Let's start where DOJ went first with the budget cuts, cutting USAID, which is now having fatal impacts in Sudan, where children are just flat out starving. USAID was 0.3% of the budget, and DOJ went after that first. Think about that. Next, FEMA cuts. They were trying to phase out FEMA completely. It does not matter what state you're in. They do not care. Of course, we all remember Joni Ernst saying, well, we're all going to die. Who cares? Of course, we have our boy Mitch McConnell saying they'll get over it, losing Medicaid coverage. 13.7 million. Next, this guy in Minnesota that went on a killing spree, directly targeting politicians and had a hit list, killing 3 people, a dog, and injuring 2 others. And just this past Sunday, another MAGA person shot 2 firefighters in an ambush. I say all of this because I think a lot of us grew up learning about cults and really attaching a death to like a death cult, things like that, like Jonesboro, Heaven's Gate, the Branch Davidians, the Manson family, things like that. We are here with MAGA. MAGA is a death cult. They do not care about you. Trump doesn't care about you. He cares about himself, only himself, like a true cult leader. It is time to wake the fuck up. Because these ICE detention facilities are concentration camps. They don't care if people die. People are dying inside ICE detention facilities. They do not care. They openly brag about having shark-infested waters surrounding the ICE detention facilities. They will turn into concentration camps and death camps. Wake the fuck up.
So what are we doing with all the old people? When the big, beautiful bill passes, 1 in 4 nursing homes nationwide will close their doors. So what are we doing with all the old people in there that don't have families, that don't have anyone to take them in? Are we just going to leave them there to rot, or will you actually physically remove them and let them unalive on the streets? And then when that happens, who's going to pay to have them removed from the streets and buried or cremated? Who's doing that? Do we have the money for that? And in case you didn't know, nursing homes aren't just for the elderly that are soon to leave this world. Let's say you break your leg or your hip or your collarbone really bad and you need round-the-clock care. Well, the hospital can't keep you. And if your spouse has to go back to work because you have to pay bills or pay for hundreds of dollars worth of groceries every single week, they send you to a nursing home to take care of you. How's that going to work?
Sadly, the big, ugly, awful bill just passed by the narrowest of margins. 50 Republicans plus the vice president brought in to break the tie. This is a tragedy of a bill, a shameful bill, a selfish bill that will take money away from our kids and grandkids. It'll raise the debt and deficit to do so, to fund tax cuts for super wealthy people. It will cut millions and millions of people off of health care. It will take food away from hungry families. I've been in the Congress for some time. This is the most shameful act I've ever seen. We're going to fight this now in the House. This is still not a foregone conclusion. A lot of Republicans, I think more than a dozen of them, said to fix all the horrible Medicaid cuts. Well, we fixed them all right. We made them worse. The Senate Republicans made those cuts even deeper, about $1 trillion taking away from health care. So we're going to fight this now in the House. We need your active support. Reach out to people, reach out to folks in those districts, have them call their representatives and write. We need to kill this big ugly bill.
This is a question for MAGA, and I'm literally looking for genuine open dialogue here. I'm not even joking. Is your support of the big beautiful bill, is it based on the fact that you truly believe that it is going to be beneficial in the long run, that it is going to help the country? I mean, we see a lot of information coming out saying that this is going to increase the deficit substantially. But do you believe that in the short term it's more worth doing this? And again, if this is how you feel, I'm open to hearing it. Are you of the mind that you are willing to see the deficit increase, you're willing to possibly lose your own benefits because you feel that there are people in this country that don't deserve those benefits. So even if you suffer, you're okay suffering a little bit, so as long as they lose stuff too. Like, genuinely, I want to hear this, because really everything that I'm hearing and seeing is bad. We have nonpartisan groups that are basically budget watchdogs, Democrats and Republicans in these groups that are saying this is bad news. We have financial experts with decades of experience saying this looks like bad news. But yeah, I genuinely want to hear why you think that all of their experience, all of their advice, all of their expertise, it doesn't matter. You think this bill needs to be passed. I just want to hear it. Open to conversation.
This isn't what the American people signed up for. They didn't vote for the healthcare to be ripped away. They didn't vote to see the billionaires smiling while children go to bed hungry. They didn't vote to watch their grandparents struggle without the medication and care they desperately need. This bill is not just a policy change. It's a direct attack on the poor, the sick, the elderly, and the working class. It sends a clear message. If you're not rich, you simply don't matter to this government. And let's be real. This is what America First looks like under Trump. First for who? Because it's not for the single moms working 2 jobs. It's not for the veterans living on fixed incomes. It's not for the disabled people who rely on Medicaid just to survive. It's the ultra-wealthy, the corporations, and the political elite who will be celebrating tonight, while millions of others are left asking, how will I make it through this month? People are already drowning under rent, groceries, gas, and student loans. Now they're told, you are on your own. When it comes to healthcare too, it's cruel, it's immoral, and it's proof that this system is rigged to benefit the few while crushing the many. We can't be silent. We can't normalize this. If you are outraged, you have every right to be. If you are scared, you're not alone. And if you are confused how we got here, just follow the money. But this moment should wake us, all of us, up. This is no longer about left or right. It's about survival. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you share this video widely so that people can see what's really going on, all right? I'll see you in the next video.